The Attorney General, William Barr, is expected to release the Mueller report any day now. The question is, how much will he actually release? Joining me now is Democratic Congressman Steve Cohen of Tennessee. He sits on the House Judiciary Committee. We're so appreciative of you joining us here on a Friday night, Congressman. So at this point, is anything less than the full Mueller report acceptable to you?
Well, not really. I mean, we should see the full report. And there are parts that the public shouldn't see if they deal with sources and methods of this intelligence community. There's probably a minimal amount of that. Grand jury testimony, yeah, that has approval of Judge Howell or some other judge. That will probably be allowed. And it's not that, it pales in comparison to the importance of the American public seeing what this special counsel's findings were on the activities of the president and his campaign and his team. Mm-hmm. That's the most important thing that's going on in this country for the last 2 years, is basically, as Richard Nixon so well put it, is the president a crook? And the public needs to know. And there's nothing more important to either let the public know he is or let the public know he isn't than to let that report be seen. And to do anything less is to leave the president in purgatory. Yeah. And that's not good for the country, and it's not good for the president.
Your committee authorized a subpoena to get the complete unredacted Mueller report along with its underlying evidence. Do you anticipate having to use this power?
I certainly do. I don't think that Bill Barr will give us anything but a, what do they call it, a expurgated version, the abbreviated, expurgated R version of the report. And there's a lot that we want to see, because he was hired by Trump. Trump wasn't going to hire anybody that wasn't going to take care of him. There was a Faustian bargain. For those people old enough to know damn Yankees, he's Joe Hardy or Tab Hunter. And he made a deal, and the season's running on, and I think was put together by some folks that wanted to see us continue to get conservative right-wing judges. And they're going to try to get McConnell changed the rules just last week to get as many as possible approved. They're going to try to change the entire perspective and voice of the judicial branch. And I think that's why Barr went in, was to guarantee that happened, that nothing happened to Trump, and they could continue to push through their judges. It was a Faustian bargain.
Okay, so then let me ask you, if the Justice Department, if they refuse to comply request, you're going to take the issue to court?
I think we'll have to. I mean, there's no question. They're not going to comply. The Justice Department will not take it to court for contempt of Barr and contempt, because he's the Justice Department. So we'll have to bring a contempt citation probably, or contempt action in Congress to hold him in contempt. Because the problem is, if the Attorney General doesn't comply with the subpoena, Congress's next step is to ask the Justice Department to enforce the subpoena and take it to court. I doubt the Justice Department will do that. We'll have a constitutional crisis. The next step will be to go to the floor and ask for a contempt citation against the Attorney General, and I suspect we'll have enough votes to do it. Then we get into a real standoff.
So the Attorney General is set to publicly testify before the House Appropriations Committee on Tuesday. It's meant to talk about the budget. You think your colleagues are going to ask her about the Mueller report?
I suspect somebody would. They'll have an opportunity to ask him some questions, and I suspect somebody will take that opportunity.
Okay. So President Trump says even, if every page of the report were made public, your party wouldn't be happy. Watch this.
I will tell you, anything we give them will never be enough.
What about the fact
we could give them, it's a 400-page report, right? We could give them 800 pages, and it wouldn't be enough. They'll always come back and say, it's not enough, it's not enough.
What do you say, Congressman?
Them is the public as well as Congress, and Congress is the representatives of the public. And so the president's basically saying to the public, be damned, and to your representatives, be damned. And we don't want to give you the full report. And he's saying if whatever we give you is not enough, all he needs to give us is the full report. And a couple of 3-4 weeks ago, before we went on victory tour, the full report, something he wanted to have us given, and all the Congress, Democrats and Republicans voted for it. But the narrative's changed because they got a chance to put out their phony 4-page summary to say he was exonerated. He went and did his victory lap and claimed he was totally exonerated. Not only was he exonerated, he was made the king of heaven, and he was going to be in charge of all the angels, just as well as he won all those course championships in golf, which Rick Riley has told us about. The man's his whole life is a lie, and it's really sad that we're even talking about him. But we have to until we either vote him out or for other manners we have him removed. He does not belong in the White House. He's a stain on the American psyche.
Well, Congressman, thank you. A lot to come. We'll be watching and we'll be reporting, and we look forward to you coming back to give your perspective. Thank you so much. Have a good weekend.
The truth is sometimes tough to take.